Hello, and Scott McKenzie here, founder of home care agency Blueprint. Welcome back to my channel. If you're revisiting my videos and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So today I just want to jump in here and talk about the monthly startup budget that you would consider having for your very first home care agency. This is based on one caregiver. Of course, you got to have, that first employee to go with your very first client. So I put together this spreadsheet and I can even link this in the description below. And what it's going to have in here is all of your different expenses are going to be labeled in here. So as far as the very first thing to consider is, so just kind of like backing up here, the reason why I'm framing this video is we get a lot of our clients and students asking us, what does it cost to get my home care agency started? What are the ongoing expenses? This is probably one of the top 3-4 questions we get, and I thought it'd be good to make a video on it. So, but yeah, essentially there's different services that you need. There's some things that you must have. There's some things that are kind of like wants. I'm going to just go through these one by one, and then I will end with as far as like some example scenarios, and then basically what it looks like for profitability and different scenarios of how you start and scale your agency, what that looks like. A lot of people get caught up on the expenses of what it costs every month or having to pay this, having to pay that. And I understand that. I mean, for those of you that do not know my story, I literally started Golden Age Companions, my own home care business, back in 2011. And I was working at Starbucks. So, my paycheck, even back then, that was $6.75 an hour, times full-time work. I was barely bringing in $1,200 a month. So, you got to just, I know that like the initial cost for like say the license could be the very first thing, but ongoing, the expenses, these can be scaled down as little or as much as you want. And I'm going to go through these and just kind of give some insight of like the things. I mean, some things are going to be obvious, like your office space. Obviously, like if your state requires in the licensing documents that you have to have an office space, that's a given. And here at Home Care Agency Blueprint, we even have workarounds on, yes, still getting the office space, but helping you find the proper area to be in and not having to spend so much in office. You can have a small executive office with a lock-in file cabinet. You don't have to have this giant office that's 1,200 or 1,300 a month. So, that's something that we always talk about. And, with Home Care Agency Blueprint, we have an entire team. We do everything from obviously licensing, branding, all the operations. We have a proprietary model called Blueprint Ops, and that's something that we install inside of your agency to help you run and operate your business. So we don't just help you get licensed, we get you licensed and then also help you with the operations, how to hire the caregivers, how to go do the in-home assessments, what forms you need. And then as you scale, how to kind of keep all that intact and invoice your clients and pay your caregivers, and then eventually how to accept insurances and whatnot. So jumping in here, your phone system is obvious. You could do, we always like say that you definitely want a separate business phone number. There's a couple things you could do here. You can add a separate, say, line, like just get your phone. You can add like a second line inside of your phone. A lot of carriers do that now, where you could do like a dual SIM, but most of the carriers, you have to pay for that extra line anyway, whether you're using it on the same phone or not. And that could be 20 to 30 bucks a month, depending on how big your wireless plan is. Sometimes it's a little cheaper. You could just get a totally separate phone and just have that as your business line. You could also do a P phone. So an example of that would be, one of the examples I really like is called Quo. They used to be called Open Phone. And I mean, this is very reasonable. They're under 25, 30 bucks a month, but I really like this company a lot. So I can actually put a link in the description below. There's some promo that they offer if you use my link. So that's something that, but you can set up like an AI to answer the phone, or at least, make sure that it's answered, and your agency is greeting who's calling you and whatnot if you can't get to it as you're, starting out and stuff. So that's an example. The other thing, so you can do texting too in this one. Another thing, you can set up Twilio, which looks like this. This is Twilio. This is known for phone and text, and this is more as you scale though. So like as you're needing to reach out on a larger scale, Twilio is really good for, like SMS and integrations with AI and stuff like that. But to not get too in depth in everything, I would just recommend getting a separate business line. You can even use like I would just recommend using your wireless provider, like whether it's AT&T or Verizon or T-Mobile, just adding another line. So that's operations. There's a lot of different platforms out there. There's also Access Care, which, we don't really recommend them as much. They're expensive, and Alaya Care seems kind of dated. We really like WellSky CRM. That's so what WellSky cost is, when at least in working with home care agency Blueprint, you get 90 days complimentary, and then it's $200 per month, and that's up to 20 clients that you have providing care for. So basically, then it comes down to like $10 per client per after 20 clients. So it's very reasonable. And if you think about it, off of 20 clients, you're going to be bringing in at least $15,000 or $20,000 a month revenue. So it's super reasonable, but that is their minimum. They changed that. They used to have it where you could just have like 5 or 6 clients, just pay a la carte, but now they have a $200 minimum. Office space, this depends on your state. So, it could be no cost if you have a home office. Just make sure that you have zoning. I'm going to put in here zoning required, because that's something that's really important for your office space. You have to make sure it's in the zoning of that, whatever the state regulations are. They want to make sure it's zoned properly and that they can come do inspections and whatnot. One thing I'll recommend about the office space is, as long as you incorporate your business, your LLC even if you did like a virtual shared, like a commercial space, and then you had a home office on your licensing, that would be okay. To keep things cohesive and just easier, I just recommend doing a office space, like an executive suite, for $300 a month. You already have it set up. You have a spacer, you have a locking file cabinet, behind it, locking door. And that's also where your business address and everything is linked. And then that's also where like your Google My Business, your Yelp, all of your directory listings, everything is all linked in there. So a lot of people don't realize that, like they just go get a home office, but they don't realize that how are you going to have your online presence, right? On your website, what address are you going to put? As far as the bank, right? Like when you open up a bank account, like the banks look at that. When you have a home office address versus a commercial space, they look at that differently. Utilities, internet could be your home internet, electricity, software. A lot of this stuff can come built into your office space if you're renting. They usually include all that. Let's see, office supplies, that's kind of a given, $50. Your payroll, so this is pretty important. Generally, we recommend Paychex. If you need to do QuickBooks payroll, if you want something on like a little bit cheaper, but Paychex is really reasonable. That's only about $60 to $100 a month per, like starting out. And then basically the way this is for Paychex, most of the payroll companies do it this way, but speaking to Paychex, the way they do it is then it's also like, say it's only $7 or $4 per employee per processing per month. So like if you're processing payroll twice a month, then like you say you have, basically one caregiver and you're processing twice a month, that's going to be an add-on. So it'll be $4 times 2, so $8. And then for every employee you have, so you have 10 employees, then it's going to be 2 processings per month because every pay period you pay for that employee to process that payroll. That's basically how it works. So it goes on like a sliding scale. And then we have an affiliation, a partnership with Paychex, which is really awesome. So we get actually preferred pricing. Any of our clients that go through us that end up using Paychex, they get preferred pricing, so it's a lot cheaper. And then also Paychex has like HR and other bundles that are integrated that can help you support your business as you grow to protect you. Also, caregiver wages. This is I don't want to say like this is a sunken cost, but this is like, if you think about it, if you're billing out 80 hours a month, you're also going to be invoicing, say, a client for 80 hours. So like at $15, you might be charging that client 30 an hour. So you're really going to be bringing in like 2,400 a month. So double that. So like your revenue will be paying your caregiver. People don't realize that, like, oh, I have to pay all these employees. Well, no, like you invoice your clients every month. We say every Monday for the week prior, and then you collect that revenue, and then you'll be using that revenue to pay your caregivers. We recommend paying the caregivers every 2 weeks. So then you have like basically a 10-day buffer to be able to collect that revenue on time, and then you're using the revenue from your clients to pay your caregivers. Workers' compensation, this is very important too. Like, definitely, if you're looking at workers' comp plan, you want to ask for a pay as you go. Not every, I know, not like, I know, for example, Washington, you have to get the workers' compensation through Washington, the state. You have to apply through them. They don't do separate private companies, but almost all the other states do. So, but yeah, you do pay as you go. So basically, you are charged a percentage of payroll. So like if your payroll's $1,200, and the rate that they give you, it's different for every person. I mean, they run your credit. It's every person, every agency, the time of the year. It's all every rate is different. So I can't give you exactly what it would be. I've seen it as low as actually 3%, but I want to be conservative on these numbers. I've seen it as high as 13, but the average we always see is like 4 to 8%. And so I just put 5 to 9 here, but basically it's so, for example, if you have a 5% rate, it would be 5% of $1,200. So that would be built into your payroll, if that makes sense. So like that would be added on to what your payroll is. So, and you got to remember, like that's the cost, right? If you think about it, if you fill out 30 an hour and you have $2,400, and then even with payroll taxes and workers' comp, you're still looking at, because payroll taxes are another anywhere from, they're around like 15 to 20% if you were a payroll, if you were to, like, I'm just giving overall numbers, but say your cost is now 1,500 a month for this, including payroll tax and workers' comp. That's great because you're still very profitable. You know, you still have almost 1,000 a month profit off that one client. And then the beauty with home care is as you grow, you end up like, this is just one client. So imagine you have 20, 30, 40 clients, how profitable this is. And then general and professional liability, there's a bunch of different platforms you can use to go through. We this basically, we recommend definitely shopping, but basically you're going to need to have your professional and general liability insurance set up prior to getting licensed, and that is something that you're going to need to pay for no matter what, even if you're waiting on the license, because you got to submit that binded, that COA. You got to submit that certificate of insurance and your licensing documents, and to make sure that you get approved. And then that will be, you could just base off 2 or 3 or 4 employees, but you just let the insurance company know, like, look, I'm just starting out and I just need a COI, a certificate of insurance, and this is the cost, 75 to 140. And keep in mind, here at Home Care Agency Blueprint, I mean, we we do, I mean, here's basically my website. Here's what we do. This is our team here. So yeah, we have different programs. We have a new thing that we launched called Agency in a Box. It's $5,000, and we can set up your entire agency for you and get you up and running. We also have higher packages, up to 10K. We even have even larger packages, but we've really streamlined our programs to help, pretty much anybody, even if you're a current home care agency watching this and like you just want to scale, or maybe you want to get your compliance in check. We have that. We have inspection programs, hair expansion. That's like if you want to get credentialed with private insurances to get more clients. We even have a Medicaid readiness program. So, I mean, there's a lot in here that we do. Our team's pretty large, so we pretty much handle it all. I started Home Care Agency Blueprint because I wanted to create a cost-effective way to get into the home care business, no matter where you are. So meet you to where you are. If you are just wanting to get started, or you're not familiar with the business, or you just want to walk before you run, we could do that. If you're already expanding, you have 2 or 3 agencies and you want to expand to different states, we can help you do that. We do basically everything when it comes to home care, home health care. And then Yeah, we guarantee all of our work. So like we guarantee you get licensed, and we will continue to work with the state and even call them and work with them to make sure that you do get approved. So anyway, that's just a little about us. But back to marketing ads, I wouldn't recommend doing any like marketing up front. You could do that as you scale, maybe after 6 or 7 clients, then you could start looking at what that looks like. Website and hosting, that's anywhere from $20 to $60 a month. Lead generation, with aging care.com, we kind of are, the trends for 2026 are changing to where like it really doesn't seem like the leads are very reliable coming from these platforms. Not to say that they're not good platforms. I would just say if you have the money, the revenue coming in, and you're able to invest, say to buy maybe 10 leads a month, and that's just there. You can convert some, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, because we've seen that. I mean, I'd even done it at Golden Age where I bought 20, 30 leads and none converted. But then like 2 or 3 months later, 1 or 2 of those clients converted. And one of those clients, was like a full-time 24/7 client, a huge client. So it just depends. And then you got to have a proper like follow-up when it comes to this, like making sure that you're following up with the leads and you don't just the other thing is too to know about aging care, and like a place for mom is a big one. They sell this one lead that they get. So basically they do like organic SEO, or they do Google ads, Facebook, they do all kinds of ads. So they invest a lot into like getting these leads. And then once they do get someone looking for home care, they end up selling that lead to you and like 4 or 5 other agencies. So when they sell that lead to you for $66, which this is what it is today, and we're March of 2026, that's average. We've seen it. It just depends on your state too, where you're at. We've seen it as low as 52. We've seen it as high as 7. Yeah, that's something that they sell your lead, and then like you can call them and call them and call them. You may not get anything, and then like weeks later they might decide to go with you. Maybe mom or dad or their aunt or whoever's in the hospital and they're waiting. So, all right, moving on. Canva Pro, that's good for design, like any of your flyers or social media or any branded documents. I really like Canva. I highly recommend them. They're very reasonable for everything you can get out of that. You could pop in a flyer, make a referral card. If there's another document you want to make, like maybe something to bring to a Chamber of Commerce meeting or a luncheon, or you want to make like a presentation or something, Canva's really great for that. Google Workspace, I'm a huge fan. I mean, you could see I'm inside of a Google Workspace right now. I really like Google Docs. They're easy to share and email and whatnot. This gets a little more advanced. Zapier and Make. That's like if you're doing like AI automation stuff. Everyone pretty much knows about AI now. So like ChatGPT, Claude, there's even Claude Code and Claude Cowork now, which is super cool. There's all kinds of things that AI can help with, and then Gemini as well. And then as far as the Serum add-on, like HubSpot or Go High Level, wouldn't really recommend that getting started. You can log most of your leads inside of WellSky CRM or even like a Google Sheets in the meantime. So this is basically the full breakdown. I'm going to link this in the description below so you guys can download this. Like some strategic notes, I just want to mention like the workers' comp. It's important to have a pay-as-you-go plan. And then, you can read this as you download it, but it's just, I went over most of this. The lead sources, hiring compliance, when you have paychecks, they'll ensure that your I-9, your W-4, they don't do anything with TB tests or live scan or background check. So that's something that's usually specific for your state on how to handle that. Our team, if you decide to work with us, and there's going to be a link below, you can request a clarity call. It's just like a 15-minute call with our team. We can help you. Pam is the main person that takes those calls, so she can guide you on what will fit best and where you are. And, if you need compliance assistance or you just want everything to get started, we can help you with that. So I was saying here, like one caregiver and one client can keep your startup budget, under 2,000 a month. I call it shiny object syndrome. So do not, like, as you grow and start bringing in revenue, you start thinking, geez, I have all this like money coming in. I want to sign up for this. I want to sign up for that. It could get really expensive to sign up for different softwares. So I really highly recommend to just keep as lean as you can. You know what I mean? Only invest in what will bring you ROI. So I have a baseline financial assumption. I'll just end here with this. If you have an average client billing rate, your caregiver wage is 15. I'm just doing, every state is different, but we're based off like 50% margins. And if you have, these are the base numbers. So you have average client billing rate, caregiver wage 15 hour, your gross profit margin is 15 per hour. So here's some examples. 5 part-time clients, you have total monthly hours. That will be, so 5 clients at 80 hours a month would be 400 hours per month. Your gross revenue would be $12,000. Your caregiver payroll around 6. Gross profit before overhead, payroll taxes and whatnot, you're looking at 6,000. So your profit off of just 5 clients is around $4,000 a month. That's pretty phenomenal. I mean, to get into a business like this, like one thing I love about home care industry is, and owning a home care agency is, you don't have inventory, right? You don't have to go like invest in a bunch of R&D or buy inventory or have a huge warehouse. You're essentially selling labor. I mean, that's really what you're doing. Like, of course, you're providing a bunch of added value, properly placing caregivers with families and being sure they're well taken care of. And that's really the added value that you're bringing into the space for the clients. And that's what people are paying for. They're paying for, they can call you and you will basically provide a caregiver for mom that maybe just got home from the hospital and she needs a caregiver, say 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And you're the one to identify that pain point and provide. And I always come back to like, you're providing a job for a caregiver, which is amazing, especially in today's market. And then you're also, relieving the family. And a lot of people are looking for that. And if you're a nurse or a CNA or you work in healthcare, likely you do. If you're watching this video, you're looking at kind of getting out of the rat race of working 9 to 5 or 12-hour shifts or overnight shifts in the hospital, and you want to create something for yourself, then this would really just be something that is amazing. So as far as a business for yourself, a legacy for you and your family, you build it up. And that's what's really nice, is that you have more and more clients coming on, you're essentially creating passive income for yourself. So, I mean, you could see here, if we go to 10 clients, you're looking at 14 to 16,000 a month. 15 clients is up to, so for 15 clients, you're looking at around $20 to $22,000 a month estimated net profit. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Like, double that. Who in this day and age, off of say 30, 40 clients, is making 35, 40, 50,000 a month? It's people ask us all the time, oh, do you like, the highest revenue we've had at Golden Angel has been around like 53,000 a week. So you're looking over around 215,000 a month. And people like don't believe it. They're just like, how is that possible? Well, if you just do the math, I mean, that's what home care is. Like, it is what it is, right? So, and yes, I won't sugarcoat it. It is work getting it built up to that. There's dedication here. Like, this isn't just, like if you're looking at getting this business, like, oh, I can just get 10 clients fast and I just want to get the money in my bank. It's like, it doesn't work like that. There's got to be a lot of dedication. And, I encourage you to have the passion to only go on this if you have the passion for this business, or really like a heart for it. Don't jump in this business just for the money. It is good money at the same time. There are challenges, and it's fun to grow it, and there are challenges that will show up, but that's why we're here at Home Care Agency Blueprint, to help and guide and coach you. So the other thing I want to mention too is, like, all of our programs come with some level of coaching. So we're essentially like a business services slash coaching program. I also have my CHCE course. So that's super cool. That's called Certified Home Care Entrepreneur course, where I took over an year almost writing this course, and that teaches you how to start and grow and scale your agency. That course is really, like, I like to call it like a knowledge base. So between us assisting you getting your business up and running, launched, coaching you, answering all of your questions, some of our programs offer up to 12 or even 18 months of support. That's dedicated through, we actually just use WhatsApp. So between myself, Pam, and our team is connected inside of WhatsApp. So we set up a WhatsApp for you. And a lot of times you're talking to me or you're talking to Pam. So you're not just getting offboard. I mean, we're a pretty large company, but I'm still super hands-on with every single client. So just wanted to mention that. And then as far as everything else. So yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to talk about today in this video. And thank you for being here and tuning in. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to my channel here, and definitely reach out to us. You could either call, text us. This is our main line here. You can also just book a call, a clarity call, so you can meet with Pam. You just go on here, pick your slot, and simple form to fill out, and then Pam will connect with you and we'll do an overview of how we can assist and help you get your own agency started. So thank you so much again. Scott McKenzie here, and I am the founder of Home Care Agency Blueprint, and I look forward to hopefully meeting you. Take care.